And here's another way they were able to raise some funds. Good old give, send, go. I tell you this, starting a racist fundraiser on Give, Send, Go is the gift that keeps on giving. Like literally, if I ever needed money for anything, I would just create some sort of white alter ego and just invent a racist episode and just watch the money roll in. Like they just can't help themselves. If it's something race, they can't help themselves. Shout out to all of the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and this is Racist of the Week, where we explore the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination and hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you have any nominees, you can drop them in the comments. You can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. Today's nominee, return to the land. Unless you are Native American, shut the F up about return to the land. Ah, yes, we should probably start with that.
Are you ready, kids?
Let's dig in, shall we?
Oh!
Whites only. Inside the far-right community, excluding people on the basis of their race. You want a white nation? Build a white town, Eric Orwell says in one video posted on social media. It can be done. We're doing it. As the Arkansas sun beats down, dozens of men are hammering posts into the red-brown earth, building a fence to mark out the boundary. Over the last year and a half, high up in the hills and woods of the Ozarks, the group has been working hard, leveling the land, laying roads, building cabins. There are wells, a community center, and a schoolhouse where the children do their lessons. The settlement sprawls over 160 acres, and it's called Return to the Land. One more time? Unless you are a Native American, shut the F up about return to the land. Their founders say it's an intentional community based around shared ancestry. Writing on X, they are more straightforward. We started a whites-only community. Around 40 people live here, and hundreds more from all around the world have paid to be members.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture. Yeah, not just white, but white American.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, it's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out.
You don't let everyone into your home.
Thank goodness for that. Well, I might have Eric Orwell down there cooking eggs. Yeah, I certainly hold a much higher bar for who I let into my home. But for a whites only settlement, ooh boy, Fox News gonna have a field day with this. Have they found this yet? Fox News posts about return to the land and its comments from self-hating whites and nons who want us dead. Oh, wow. Let's see. You misspelled their name. It's return to the laundromat. What about that guy walking with that hat made you feel like he'd ever been to a laundromat? Huh? You sure about return? And their mantra is, if anybody's going to sleep with my sister, it's going to be me. Imagine this is an episode of Simpsons where FEMA put a dome and the Springfield town burns to ashes. I just know it's going to smell like mayonnaise and tooth decay. It's sounding real The Hills Have Eyes-ish. Looks like a whole lot of Hills Have Eyes going on here. What in the Hills Have Eyes? Apparently, I really missed out on the Hills Have Eyes. And not a tooth between them, I bet. Where the mayonnaise is spicy. The anti-seasoning town. The Simpsons might have predicted this one to go ahead and throw a dome over that whole area. I got one issue. First of all, it was a whole lot of white people that were in those comments. and nobody exactly wanted you dead. That is a whole lot of projection. Oh, you could do more projection? The person who posted the original tweet, notice how most of the white people who are making fun of themselves are women. The women problem is so much bigger than it seems. So you made a whole post talking about how it was non-white people, and then after it was white people, want to make it about women.
Hey pal, you just blowing from stupid town?
Well, that kind of pushing the goalposts and self-victimization is perfect for this story.
No blacks, no Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only. They are millennials and Gen Z, and this is a new update of age-old prejudice. Around 40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And while the men do the physical labour, the women take care of the children who live here full time. It could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do.
Okay, now it's making sense why he blamed the women. Well, our problem is bigger than we thought. Women with opinions. That is, now I get it. Now it's all coming full circle. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Those are some nice pick-me's you got over there. I didn't mean that. I was just saying that. What I meant to say is those are some pick-me's you have over there.
It could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do.
You might be wondering how any of this can be legal. Return to the Land is structured as a private members association, which they believe allows them to discriminate on the basis of ethnicity, along with other factors. That has yet to be tested in the courts and may well fail. The Arkansas Attorney General has said his office is now reviewing the matter as a result of our reporting, and that there is no room for racial discrimination in Arkansas or anywhere in a free society.
Well, first of all, that was breaking news from the Attorney General about Arkansas. He taught me something about the state. And I don't take that lightly coming from him. Not at all. This is the same guy and Republican Attorney General Tim Griffin, who's pursued bigoted initiatives in his own right, as evidenced by his participation in the right-wing crusade against diversity and school lesson plans that discuss racial injustice. But the whites-only anti-Jewish community formed in Arkansas by a white supremacist group that calls itself Return to the Land is apparently a step too far in the Attorney General's eyes. I wonder what the step too far was. Because it wasn't the anti-blackness. We know it wasn't the anti-gays. I wonder why the Attorney General now has a problem with this. And back to what the woman the pick-me who said they already have their own communities. You know, black people and apparently gay people have their own communities.
So weird watching black people get mad at white people for starting functioning white communities. It's like, you know how happy we'd be to see black people start a functioning black community? Like we would leave you to it. We would be, oh my goodness, good for you guys.
You were saying?
And what's so funny about seeing these white people build this community is like, we have tried to do this 11 times in this country to be separate and apart. And every single time they done burned it to the ground. Every time. Like, oh no, you never had to convince a lot of black people that we needed some separation. We needed a break. We needed to go on like a relationship break from the white people. You have never had to convince us of that. And so it's just funny to see them in real time. And notice, here's the difference. Notice ain't now one of us outside their little community picketing. We ain't filing no lawsuits. We ain't doing shit. We like, be blessed. Be blessed.
Right.
Meanwhile, let the
Right.
Fearless Fund create a venture capital fund to help Black entrepreneurs, and they suing like that.
I'm curious, what are the communities that she feels like white people are prohibited from joining? I would love for her to name literally anywhere where white people are I mean, maybe like Tyler Perry's compound or something like that. I don't know. I would love to get an answer to that question. Not to mention the fact that pick-me's are welcome everywhere. So if you're going to pick me, nobody objects to that.
All the while, the women of the group took on the more typically trad, homesteading type roles.
I guess I found the people through Twitter that ended up starting this project, actually spearheading it. And I went out to the first April event last year, and it was really fun.
The sort of white-only aspect of this, how important is that to you guys?
Given the premise that it's something that is kind of off limits for whites but is okay by implication for other groups, I do feel it's necessary to carve that out, and you kind of have to do it yourself.
It's kind of like if we don't do this, the laws are only getting worse as far as freedom of association goes. So it's kind of like we have to do this, or there might come a time where it's not possible to.
Are you guys aware sort of people are going to be watching, it's going to be controversial?
I think people just have a large misunderstanding of what's happening here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misunderstanding?
Well,
that we hate everyone else.
Oh, okay. All right. I fall back. I didn't realize that this wasn't that kind of party, that you in fact don't hate everyone else. This show, there are plenty of Yahtzee references on the group's public chat on Telegram. Peter Sayre has posted the phrase 1488. 14 refers to the 14 words, a white supremacist slogan, and H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, so 88 means HH, and there you see what that reference is. He said it's a funny comment, a throwback. Orwell in his videos has talked about the second coming, shall I say, saying he won't arrive unless people, quote, do the work. I asked him about this. Well, there I am, honestly. I'm addressing the sentiments of my audience. He's a very controversial historical figure. I think the mainstream view is one-sided. It's informed by World War II propaganda, but also the contrary position that he did nothing wrong, that many people online say that's also a one-sided view. I think all historical figures are complex, multidimensional, but when I say you're going to have to wait for that new one to arise, I'm not saying you're going to have to wait for a new person to start a new Holocaust. I'm saying you're going to have to wait for a charismatic leader who's going to advocate for your interests, because that's how a lot of people see him. Now I see why they were so frustrated. I saw why that poster was so frustrated and angry with women, not just because of his own inability to attain one, but because they went out and said that they don't hate people. They misrepresented the whole group. And while we're out here collecting hateful groups from all across the globe, what's room for one more? You know where they got the idea?
Goeiemorgen. My name's Eric Orwell. I'm visiting from America with the Return to the Land movement. We're inspired by Irania. I'm here, of course, in South Africa, in Irania. It's great. It was just bigger, more complex, more thoughtful than I was expecting. I was expecting more, like a ghost town that had been developed. That's what I'd heard. But you guys have big public spaces, many restaurants, businesses, so just bigger and better than I thought. I think what you're doing is extraordinary, and you should realize just how special it is and how important it is. And you're not just leading the way for Afrikaners, you are leading the way for especially European people all around the world, but more at a larger scale, any group who wants to define their own future, you are showing the way. I've learned in the value of dreaming big and thinking big. So we would like to, our community now is kind of rural. So we have 3-acre plots and it's agriculturally based. It's a rural atmosphere. And now I'm seeing these public spaces, these mixed use buildings, commercial, residential, office buildings. And I'm thinking we have to aspire to that same kind of thing. Like Irania right now wants to move from a town to a city. Well, we want to move from a suburb in a rural area to a town, a proper town with the city center.
Yep, that's right. South Africa. That is right. Who doesn't see South Africa as a beacon of light when it comes to racial community construction? Yeah, that is certainly what you want to aspire to. Speaking of which, talking about wanting to build a whole city and all the public spaces and office buildings and parks, and that just makes you a liar about that. All shucks, we just got a couple of plots in the middle of the Ozarks. What's the harm? Yeah, that was all cap. Yeah, because you was on record saying that, because that's how the internet works. You say that and we still have that. So we know that's what you want to do. One thing that you might need, if you, in fact, want to build out from a town to a city, you're going to need some people to keep all those dark folks and all those Jewish and gay folks at bay. Huh? Oh, you already got cops?
160-acre white-only community is being built. No blacks, no Jews, no LBG community, and no mixed race. And then they have the audacity to call it the return of the land. But let me break down the part that they're not saying out loud. Some of these people setting up shops are police officers.
By the way, not just police officers, it also said federal agents. So naturally, that's what I want in a police officer and a federal agent, are the people who self-segregate, and not just in the casual way where they live in the suburbs and not in the city that they police. No, the members only kind, like official, put the names down and everything.
You know, the ones who swore in to protect and serve. Yeah, them. History shows us exactly how this goes. Every time we build up our community, they tear it down. From Tulsa to Rosewood to every black neighborhood that they burnt down, patrolled, and destroyed. Let's be clear. This is not their land. This is indigenous land. Their land is across the Atlantic in Europe. But here they are building their so-called portrait of white race as if they own the land. My question to you guys, what are sundown towns? Aren't they white-only towns?
Hold on, I gotta send this clip of Tulsa to that pick me out there, how it was destroyed. And I would love, maybe I gotta ask AI or one of the chat bots, who the white man, woman, or child was that was legally prevented from being a part of it if they so chose.
I'm sure you will also not be shocked to find out that among the 40 people who already live in there are federal agents and law enforcement officers. And the reason I know that is because when the journalist went in to do the story on this place, it was announced that there was law enforcement and federal agents, and they did not want to be included in the story. So Eric Orwell, that was in the middle there, the founder, big fan of Schmittler, by the way. He also believes that white people are being G-sided and are being taken out by the woke agenda. This community that they're building has a schoolhouse, has a community center. They do community dinners. They essentially live off the land. They have farm animals. They're doing everything that they can so that they do not have to step out of the borders of this community. And this is not shocking by any means in Arkansas, right? Because there are so many sundown towns in Arkansas, and racism just runs extremely rampant through the state. Now, they also offer a $1,000 incentive for the people within the community to have babies. They want to continue to grow this population and preserve the white culture. Now, while I was doing research, I came across a possible other whites-only community that is being built in Springfield, Missouri. So now this is unfortunately apparently becoming a trend.
And naturally, if you want to get the word out about your Yahtzee compound, you're more than welcome to do so on TMZ. I mean, just look at their corporate partners and parents. They'll love this message. It's Fox. It's Fox. You don't even have to look it up. Fox owns TMZ.
Well, I have a problem with exclusion, to be honest. I have a problem with exclusion and just fundamentally saying somebody is different because of their religion or the color of their skin. I mean, that's my personal opinion. How is this community funded? My understanding is you have something like a GoFundMe. Can you explain that?
The actual purchase of the property was funded by the community members themselves. And up to this point, almost everything that we've done has been our own initiative, our own resources. We've put up some fundraising campaigns, like a legal fundraiser that has been very successful, and that's necessary because many people would try to attack what we're doing as illegal. I've also raised funds to fund a tour to expand our projects, not just to full-time residential communities, but also recreational areas and community centers. I think it's good for the white community to have our own spaces, just like I think the black community should have its own spaces, and the Jewish community clearly has its own spaces.
And here's another way they were able to raise some funds. Good old give, send, go. I tell you this, starting a racist fundraiser on Give, Send, Go is the gift that keeps on giving. Like literally. If I ever needed money for anything, I would just create some sort of white alter ego and just invent a racist episode and just watch the money roll in. Like they just can't help themselves. If it's something race, they can't help themselves. And by the way, Give, Send, Go as a platform can get a whole video. Coming soon. Huge thanks to Alexander for his massive donation to the Return to the Land Legal Research Fund. This will allow us to improve our current structures and build out an airtight framework for a much larger network of white community hubs around the country. This is a game changer. Now, I'll come back to that whole thing about white community hubs around the country, because I did want to address this, because there was a whole lot of this sentiment out on the internets, especially amongst the black MAGAs.
Who cares if them white people are making a settlement in the woods that's only for white people? Who cares? Have y'all seen the videos of what's inside that compound? Absolutely nothing. So why is it such a problem that they want to go in the woods and build cabins and live their happy white lives? Why does that bother black people so much that they don't want to be around you? It's weird. It's weird that you online, not all, but a lot of black people talk so much shit about the YT people. They don't want to be around you. And I feel like that's okay. For the ones that want to be around us, cool. For the ones that don't want to be around us, cool. Black people, stop making everything a problem. Let them people go live in the woods. Let them. They're not bothering us. They want to get away from you. They want to be white in the woods. And you got a problem with it. Don't you understand that that's more neighborhoods for us to move into? The deeper they go in them woods, the better chances of us getting a nice house in a nice neighborhood. So I don't blame them. If they want to go to the moon, if they want to go to the woods, if they want to go in the ocean, it don't matter. Everything these people do seem to piss y'all off. If they have black fatigue, let them go. What you want them to have, black fatigue around you? How does that make you safe? You guys are confusing me, man. Let them white people live in the woods by themselves. Let them do whatever they need to do to be happy, man. They have the right to do it. All right. Just like we got the right to do it. Let's just build it. All the black people that's upset at them, go in the woods and build a black city then. And let's see how many people want to join that shit. Because you can do the same thing. We all got the same rights. This is America.
Okay, let's start here. Do I want to live in the woods? Absolutely not. I didn't even like going camping with my dad back in the day. Used to run to the little community area that they had to use the phone to call my mom to come pick me up. I don't want to be in the woods. There's no way I would eat at any of them restaurants, not without a bucket of Lawry's. And no, I don't believe that any of those people would be missed. I can give you that. Here's my question. Are they going to stay in the woods? They've already said they're not going to stay in the woods. He's already discussed his ideas of expanding, and they're moving on that.
This isn't 1925. It's not a history lesson. It's right now, and it's happening in Missouri. A group called Return to the Land, a so-called private membership community, is trying to expand into the state. On the surface, they talk about ancestral values and traditional living. But you look closer, and you'll see exactly what this is. It's a whites-only community. There's no diversity, no inclusion, not even Jewish people are allowed in. They already have land in northeast Arkansas, and now they're looking to set up shop in Missouri. And their founders say they've already talked to attorneys who believe they have a legal argument for all of this, based on quote-unquote freedom of association, which means they're ready to take this to the courts. And with the current makeup of the United States Supreme Court, that should concern everybody. Because if they win, that sets the stage for more of these communities. More modern segregation, fully legal, state by state. One of their recruiting videos shows a bunch of guys doing pull-ups in the woods, chopping trees, talking about building a future. They frame it as safety, family, and tradition. But what they really mean is, as long as everyone looks like them, they're fine with it. This is how it starts. They find a legal loophole, claim it's about culture, and hope the courts give them cover. So, Missouri, are we going to let this happen? Because if we don't speak up now, this doesn't end here. It spreads. Call your lawmakers. Share this story. Let Missouri be the line in the sand.
And what he's talking about is legit. Whites-only community plotting expansion to another state as its efforts to build a white nation continue. Return to the Land, an ethno-nationalist living community in remote Arkansas that welcomes only people with traditional views and European ancestry, reportedly planning new project in Missouri. And by the way, that's exactly why I went with my KC Missouri jersey also, because I ain't got no Arkansas. I don't know. Razorbacks been too trash for too long, and I don't associate with nothing Jerry Jones. So that's why I went with KC. I'm hoping that Missouri can stand on business in the same way that Tennessee did when they tried this there.
But what really concerned these Jackson County residents, some who were reluctant for their faces to be on camera, are the podcasters' views that the civil rights movement was a mistake, that foreigners who've become U.S. citizens still don't belong in America.
What is it you would like for these people coming in from out of state to know? What message would you have for these people?
This town is not for them.
Bigotry's not going to
No, it's not going to work.
We are not that community, and we don't want to be a part of a racial hate community.
Now that I think was really welcoming to see from a group that we were not involved. Like it wasn't like we were there and they were just saying what they thought we wanted to hear. Touche. And touche the response as well.
We are not that community, and we don't want to be a part of a racial hate community.
Wait a minute. Speaking of responses, why that first lady ain't clap? Yeah, the first lady, the head of the Republican, the GOP local G, she didn't clap. She the same one in the beginning that said her biggest issue was the takeover, not the subjugation of blacks and women. So let's do this, Black MAGA. Why don't you give me the imaginary line where you might find it objectionable, if in fact there is one? Because that whole point he made about this just gives me a better opportunity to get a house in the suburbs. If we're legitimizing this, then they can do that in the suburbs. Now, can't they? Why not in a whole city? Could a state be next? What is the imaginary line where all of a sudden this becomes a problem because I don't really know that it was okay because they were in the woods, but they can't have a community center is a legitimate case to be made when you've already set the precedent for this kind of thing. And if you think to the whole point about, there's people that act this way because they don't want to live around us and they move to the suburbs. That's 1,000% correct. They do move to the suburbs. Do you know how much money there might be for people if they could legally create this in the suburbs in which they live? How about that? And how about this too? Because we have seen over the course of the last 10 years, how about that? Over the course of the last 10 years, we've seen a steady rollback since Make America Great Again has taken the stage. We've seen elimination of obviously DEI and affirmative action programs. We've seen assaults on the Civil Rights Act. We've seen assaults on the Voting Rights Act. We've seen due process put on the table. We're talking about third country deportations. We're talking about deportation of citizens. Wild stuff. We're talking about challenging the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship. We have seen a steady rollback in the fabric of American society. So now we want to reinstitute separate but equal. But I guess it really doesn't have to be equal because they can just create whatever the hell they want. So we're reinstituting separate. What's next? Want to keep going down this road? You want to keep marching down this road, huh?
Man. The Final Fantasy series has some of the greatest music I've ever heard in my entire life. So beautiful. Hey, yo, Doc, yo, I got something to tell you, man. What, man? What you got to tell me? You gotta hear about this, man. Hold on, man. Let me turn this down real quick. Gonna make me turn off my soundtrack. Hold on, man. All right, what is it? So apparently they're building a whole whites-only community in Missouri. Okay, and? Wait, what the hell do you mean, and? This is really, really bad, man. For real. So, wait a second. Just so I'm clear. You're telling me that there is an entire sector of bigots that are building up their own community in Missouri. That's what I said. And, there's no catch. They just all are terrible. That would be correct. And we all know where they are. Yeah, they went public with the location. Let them build it. Wait, what? What do you mean let them build it? Let them build it. Return to the land might be the most appropriate name for that. Think about it.
I'll accept that one. I will accept for now. That is not a long-term stance, but I'm good with that one. But we got to talk about this Final Fantasy music thing. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out. Now, it may come as a surprise to some of you, but I don't always record these videos, clean from beginning to end. Thank you guys. What did I call it?
Sad, and you hate to see it, but more than that, you love to see it.
Well, I thought that might be content that some of you guys might be interested in. So members, be on the lookout for some outtake videos that are going to hit the timeline soon. I also want to send a shout out to everybody that's reached out to me at admin@reesewaters.com. I very much appreciate all your comments and suggestions. And I try and respond to as many as I can. But there was one in particular from Holly who said, "Hi, Reese, I know you use Patreon for other reasons. I don't need that from you. I watch you on YouTube. Do you have a PayPal account?" In fact, I do. My PayPal, as well as my Cash App and my T app are all in the descriptions to all of the videos. You can find them right there. Also, I want to send a shout out to Renee and Lenitra who sent me these photos with their Reese Waters mugs. As well as this one. Wait a minute. No, that's not mine. Thank you guys so much for the pictures as well as the support. And if you would like to send in some photos or contribute or send me a note or anything like that, admin@reesewaters.com. Now, I know we have a lot of talent and skills in this community, and I'm looking for something in particular, because you'll notice in looking at the pictures around my website, a very robust, lustrous mane of hair. Well, times have changed. Yeah, I got my enhancement game turned up to the max, and I am looking for somebody who can recommend a good man unit. So if you know somebody, or if you are somebody who can recommend or even install a good man unit, go ahead and hit me up, but it's got to be via email, because we're going to keep that on the low. Yesterday, Cookie Bush. Tomorrow, cornrows.